Hello, boys and girls. This is math lesson 9, and we're still talking about multiplication. And we're going to be using arrays again to do some of our multiplication. So let's take a little look at, what I do with my marker, at this problem on the board. 5 times 2. Can you see that? Let me turn this off and get a little bit clear. Any better? Hopefully. 5 times 2. Okay, so we can skip count by 2's to find this answer, and we have to skip count 5 times. So we're going to start with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I skip counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and I found that my answer was 10. So 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, we could also skip count by 5s. We'd only have to do that twice. 5, 10. Okay, so let's one more time skip count by 2's. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay, let's draw an array. I'm going to draw a 3 by 5 array. So I'm going to make 3 rows. There's the beginning of my 3 rows with 5 items in each row. So there is my 3 by 5 array. 1, 2, 3 rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I could make an addition sentence to find my total. I could say I have 5 in this row, plus 5 in this row, plus 5 in this row. And then I would say 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 5 more is 15. I have equal groups, so can I use multiplication instead of addition? That's right, I can. I have 3 rows with 5 items in each row. So I can count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, and my answer is still 15. Okay, let's make another array. Let's make a 3 by 4 array, because that's easy for me to do without drawing anything again. So now I have 3 rows of 4. 3 rows of 4. So how many 4s do I have? I have 3 4s, which is the same as 3 times 4. I can skip count by 3's. 3, 6, 9, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can skip count by 4's. That's a little bit harder. 4, 8, 12. But I only have to do 3 of them, and I still get 12. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do 7 by 2. So 2 rows of 7. So how many rows do I have? 1, 2. How many in each row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can skip count by twos again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So that's my 7 twos. So my answer is 14. Would I have a different answer if I did it the other way? 7 items in 2 rows. They'll be the same. Remember, we said that's the commutative property. We can move our numbers around. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do a bigger one. How about 6 by 3? So I have 3 rows of 6, or 6 columns of 3. So let's count by threes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. There's my 6 skip counts, and I ended up at 18. So 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, so that's a little review of arrays. Let's move on now. So I have an array with 10 rows of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I'm out of room, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the beginning of my 10 rows. 3 in each row. So I have 10 rows of 3. Almost there. A couple more to go. All right, so there's my array with 10 rows of 3. And now I'm going to cover up part of it. And I'm going to just use a piece of paper and do that. So let's say that I covered up this paper. Okay, so now I've covered up part of my array. So what part of my array is showing? What multiplication sentence is this? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of 3. So this part of my array shows 5 times 3. So I can count by 5s, 5, 10, 15. I almost kept going. Only 3, 5, 10, 15. So here I have 15. Let's check our answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now I have, let me move one of these, and I'm going to show you 2 more rows. Okay, so we said this part was 15. Now I want to know how much is just this part of my array. So I have 2 times 3. count by twos. 2, 4, 6. So now I can use this to find out, what if I want to know just this part of my array? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rows of 3. Now let's take a look at what we have over here. We said 5 times 3 and 2 times 3. So 7 times 3 would be the same as 5 times 3 plus 2 times 3. Because I'm multiplying by 3 every time, but I'm dividing up my 7. So my 7 is 5 plus 2. Is that correct? 5 rows plus 2 more rows gave me my 7 rows. I still had 3 in every row. So I can add these numbers together. 15 plus 6 and I get 21. So 7 times 3 is 21. Let's check our answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We did. So why would I want to go to all this trouble? Well, because counting by 5s is really easy for me. So I like 5s. Counting by 2s is really easy for me. I like 2s. Counting by 7s is harder. So I divided my 7 up into 2 parts that are easier for me to deal with. Okay, so now I know what 7 times 3 is, right? I know that 7 times 3 is 21. Okay, and I'm going to erase some of this. I'm going to use this array again. Okay, and we agree, right, that we figured out that 7 times 3 is 21. Okay, so here is my array that shows 7 times 3. 7 rows of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. What if I wanted to add one more row? Could I use what I already know to figure out what 8 times 3 is? Instead of 7 3s, I have 8 3s, so I need one more group of 3s. So I have 21, and I'm going to add one more group of 3, so that 8 times 3 is 24. That makes sense? So I already knew that 7 times 3 was 21. I figured that out before. I just wanted to add one more row. Okay, let's continue to use this array. Now, we're going to do it backwards. So let me erase this. And I said that I like 5 because they're easy for me to use. What else is really easy to skip count by? What's easy for you? For me, my next favorite one is the 10s. The 10s are very easy. So I can count by 10s. So I can say, here's a group of 10, here's a group of 10, here's a group of 10. And I can count 10, 20, 30. So this entire array is 30. 10 times 3 equals 30. So that was easy for me to figure out. But what if I wanted to know 9 times 3? And I use what I know here for an easy way to find out 9 times 3. If I have 10 here and I have 9 here, I have one less. One less group of 3. So I can take my 30, I can subtract a group of 3. Now I have to remember, how do I subtract when I have a 0 up here and I have to regroup? So I'm going to look over here, I'm going to say 0 minus 3. I can't do that. So I'm going to look to my 3, I'm going to say, hey, can I borrow a 10 from you? 3 says yes, then I'll become 2 10s, and you will become 1 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 2 minus nothing is 2. So 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, let's use what we just did to find an answer to 8 times 3. 8 times 3. I'm going to need 1 less 3 than I had here. So I can subtract 3 again and get 24. Or I could have started here at 30 and said, well, 8 is 2 less than 10, so that's 2 groups of 3 less. So I would need 30 minus 3, and then I would need to subtract another 3, and I would end up at 24. So I can use parts of an array to make my skip counting easier for myself, and that way I can count by 2s, count by 10s, count by 5s, instead of counting by harder numbers that are harder for me to skip count by. Right? So let's take a look at our problem set for a minute and see what we have learned. Okay, I'm going to share the problem set with you. Yours will look a little bit different if you're on assessments, but it's the same problems. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do at all. Back again. Okay, and sharing. Maybe. Maybe not. So sharing my screen. And I'm going to bring up all right, I'm having a lot of trouble bringing this up, so maybe I'll just talk to you about it. So our first problem says, the team organizes soccer balls into 2 rows of 5. The coach adds 3 rows of 5 soccer balls. Complete the equations to describe the total array. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, so we started with the team organizes soccer balls into 2 rows of 5. So here are my 2 rows of 5. So these are representing my soccer balls. Okay. I can say that I have 2 times 5 or 10 soccer balls. But my coach is going to add 3 more rows of 5 soccer balls. So my coach is adding so there are my 3 rows. Okay, so this row is showing me 5 plus 5. Okay. And this row is showing me 5 plus 5 plus 5. So I can look at this and say, how many 5s do I have? Well, let's look. I have this 5, this 5, this 5, this 5, and this 5. So up here I have 2 5s. So I could say 2 times 5. Down here I have 3 5s, which is 3 times 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. 3 times 5 is 15. So if I want to know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or my 3 plus 2 gives me 5 5s. And I add these together. So I added my 2 and my 3 and got 5. Now I'm going to add my 10 and my 15 and get 25. Okay, so on number 1, we would say 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals, and when we got finished, we'd know our answer was 25, because 2 5s plus 3 5s equals 5 5s, and then part C, 5 times 5 equals 25. Okay, so you're actually going to do part A last, because you're going to use B and C to help you find the answer. Okay, whenever we have parentheses, we do those together. So if you look here, 5 plus 5, let's do this one over here. I'm still on the same problem, just going to show you something a little bit differently. Plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Okay, so I'm figuring out what this means, and I'm bringing my answer down. So 5 plus 5 is 10, so I can use 10 to take the place of that one. Then 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. 10 plus 15 is 25. 10 is 2 5s right here. 15 is 3 5s right here. Okay. Then you're going to continue on using the arrays. They've divided them up for you to find the answers. Okay, remember, if you have any trouble at all, you can always come to, I don't know why this won't go away. All right, you can come to my office hours from 1 to 2, or if you want to meet some other time, send me an email and we will get together and do some of these together. This is probably one of the trickier things we've done so far, but it is very helpful once we master it to multiply larger numbers, because we can use smaller numbers that are easier for us to work with to find the answer to the multiplication problem with larger numbers in it, right? So practice, and then if you are having trouble, I hope that I will see you between 1 and 2, and we can work on a few of these together. If you are asked, I don't think you are in this one, but if you are asked to draw pictures on any of your assessments math, then draw those pictures on your whiteboard. There's no need to turn them in or send me a picture. Just do it on your whiteboard, and then if it says that you need to type something in the box, like diagram on paper, then just type in those words. If you type it in exactly the way it tells you to, then it will count that as correct. But I will take a look at them, so if you type it a little bit differently, the machine, it won't know what you meant, it will mark it wrong, but I'll know what you meant. So if you spell diagram a little bit wrong, which you shouldn't, because you're looking right at that word, but if you did, then I'll know what you meant, and I won't mark it wrong, even though the machine does. All right, so good luck, have fun. These will be really helpful for us later on, so we're going to keep practicing them for a few days. All right, see you later.